So we are going to service my Lewmar winch. I'm doing all of them. Basically what I'm using and what you need, using diesel to clean it with, just some light oil, so this is like the 3-in-1 lubricating oil from like Machine. White lithium grease is what I'm using to lubricate the bearings with. Got some little cleaning tools, some tools to take it apart with, and some rags to do the actual cleaning with. The person who used to own my boat, let's start undoing these, really greased them like super heavily. So that's something that should not have been done. They're meant to be greased fairly lightly. And the other problem is the actual little paws were greased. The little, I'll show you them inside, they're like a little spring mechanism, and they're meant to be oiled, not greased. So yeah, we'll rectify that as we go. But first step is just taking this little cap off. Another very useful thing, bucket for all your parts. So with the screws out, we can lift this cap off. And these I found easiest to undo by just wiggling this a little bit, loosen them up, and you can get in there and pull them out. You can then lift this out. Yeah. And now this whole mechanism should come off. This looks like it's been getting some water inside it too, so we'll make sure we grease it really well and seal it properly. Now these gears should just slide out. Some of mine, because of the previous grease that was used, are a bit stuck, and some of them I've had to kind of lever out a little bit, just by gently pushing behind them with a screwdriver. There we go. With the gears out, these pull apart, and these are the little paws that are springed, and that's what helps you do the double speed, locks it in. But these ones, as you can see, are very heavily greased, and they're meant to only be lightly oiled. So we're gonna have to give them a very good clean. And to do that, I have a brush, I have a bunch of rags, and we have diesel. And basically it's just a matter of scrubbing them clean and pulling them apart. The diesel really does seem to melt the grease nicely. You can see the difference there already. Okay. Now that that's a little cleaner, you can really see how much gunk is built up around these little guys. And to get them out, what we can do is push this bit and push them in and just slide them out. So I'm just pushing in on the little metal clips that hold them in and slowly working them out. So you can really see the difference before and after. So with these little clips, the way I've been cleaning them is getting diesel on a rag, putting them inside it, and then opening and closing them a bunch. And that seems to get most of it out. Of all the little cracks. And then with this one, I've been dipping it in the diesel and then just giving it a good wipe. Making sure to run the chucks cloth through that gap there where the clip sits. Putting these back together is a little tricky. Basically, it's just a matter of trying to hold everything in place while you slide them in. Sometimes it goes smooth, sometimes not. What we can do
Do you get the pliers ready?
No, I don't. Just apply some oil to these.
Okay.
I'm just talking to the camera. So we've just applied some oil. And we can lightly grease. And these can go back together. You can see how they stop it going in the wrong direction and lock your winch in place. So they're very important to have working properly. There we go, one done. So while that's out, I'm going to put this one back in first. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to put this one back in on this side first. There we go. Then we can insert its little pin back in. And we put this one back in as well, like so. Slide his little pin in. Right, those are spinning. So are these top ones. Put a little more grease in. Give him a spin. Now I'm going to clean this out too. These are a bit greasy, not too bad. Now you can very simply take these out to check the inside here as well. I know these are all okay, they're not components that get greased, so I'm going to leave them on this one. But I have had one that's broken that I had to take apart to get a new part for it, so yeah. You can see how much built up old grease was in that. Now we just need to clean these pieces and pop them back on. Now the good thing with diesel is it doesn't hurt plastic pieces as much as some other cleaners can. Put this back on. Now, when we put this on, just to make sure it's lined up with its little plastic piece so it self-tails. I'm giving these little guys a light sand because they've got a lot of gunk build up on them. And then we just slide these two little fellas in. Fitting so well. There we go. Now they're lined up. You can see they then come together really nicely and meet on top. And then we just put our little cap on, which should fit. Line it up with our screw holes here and here. And the screws just go back in. The final test. Oh yeah, that's spinning beautifully. It's not so hard. Now I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to go. Oh well. At least it's not too hard. Now you kind of know how to do it. They're all just ever so slightly different, but the concept's basically the same. And as long as you put them back together the way you pulled them apart, easy done. And Lewmar has some really good PDFs on their website as well on how to do each of them for detailed instructions. So yeah. All right, till next time, stay chuffed.